Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. And if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
I'm Bethany. I'm the co-founder and CEO of SendSpark, which is a remote company. So I've been around a bit. We started in San Antonio. I was in New York for the last 3 years, and now I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Awesome. So can you just tell me what exactly you guys do and how you got the idea for it?
Yeah, SendSpark's a video platform to create personalized videos at scale for sales and marketing emails. And we got the idea. So I'm going to say I was like head of marketing at a bunch of startups, but really I was the only marketer at a bunch of startups. So doing a lot of like email outreach, email automation, and just like general automation, because as a startup, you got to be a little scrappy and automate as much as possible. And so we found that video was super high converting. Like people want to know who's trying to sell to them and like know why does this startup exist in a space that has incumbents. So we found that video was really powerful, but like using Loom, Vidyard, other tools that were on the market at the time, it's good for one-to-one communication, but you can't build it into your email funnel. So when someone signs up, they get a personalized video, data enriched for different information for them. So we started SendSpark to kind of keep the power of video messaging, but make it a lot more scalable for different situations.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's really cool. And I definitely agree. I think that there's so much more value when you can have a video in a LinkedIn message or something like that. So can you just describe a use case of one of your customers today without mentioning names, but I'm curious how somebody's using you guys with your business?
Yeah. So you definitely get a lot of the standard one-to-one use cases that you've probably seen people talk about with video before. So sending over custom demos, walking through proposals, showing really tailored demos or following up after meetings. We see a lot of that. But the best use cases for automation I've seen are really when you're able to take something that you've maybe said to a lot of people that's basically the same thing and then do it in an automated way. So one company we just started working with, I'm excited about, they sell software to make APIs more demoable. If you think of how you normally sell an API, it's documentation. And if you're a salesperson selling that to a product manager, that's just not that flashy or exciting. It's hey, why don't you read through this? And so what their platform does is make interactive ways to demo API products. And the way they're using SendSpark is they can create a dynamic video. So they just record once, but in that video, it's hey, first name, looking at your documentation, looks like great documentation, but probably hard to sell this. Let me show you how our platform can make this interactive and a lot more sellable. And then they can stitch those two videos together and then use that for their outreach. So, anything like that, where you're able to your product can be really visualized, but you also want to make those videos tailored to every person you're reaching out to. SendSpark can save you hours and hours and infinite hours, really.
But is it pure SaaS, or what does it look like if it's a small company, you just have one sales rep that wants to use the software?
At SendSpark?
Yeah.
Our platform's pure SaaS. We have some agencies and contractors and people that are good with their API that will often refer, but that they're not part of the team. We don't sell services. People have to make their videos. But our customers are in all kinds of industries. We'll see top enterprise SaaS companies, and then a ton of startups as well.
So what does the pricing structure look like?
For us, well, we have two variations. So we basically have an individual plan that's meant for okay, you're an SDR, you're an agency owner, you're the only salesperson at a startup, so you can just use it yourself. And then we also have a team plan that's meant for, and with the individual plan, you get everything you need to like create these videos at scale. It should work for you. And then the team plan is that plus the ability to manage your team. So you can see like what team members are making and get those like higher level team plans. But it's not like, oh, you sign up for one, we're just trying to upsell you to the other. It's like, nope, either you're doing it on your own, we'll keep it simple for you, or you're managing a team, you need an extra layer. Or we also started selling agency plans as well. So you could also manage different workspaces for different clients, keep all their assets separate. So yeah, a few different options depending on who you are.
So in terms of like the price, right? So if somebody just wanted to sign up on their own, like one user, how much do you charge per month?
It starts at $49 a month and it comes with a 7-day trial. So the idea is you can try it out, make sure you're going to see at least $49 of value, which I really expect you will. And then you can get started for $49. And that includes 200 dynamic video minutes. So if you're recording like the same way you could with other platforms, that's all unlimited. But if you're generating these videos, that comes with 200. And then you can scale up depending on your usage. Like we have some people where they're making like 30,000 videos a month. So that takes a toll on our storage. And so we charge more for that. But the idea is like, low friction. Anyone can sign up, use it, and it's pretty affordable.
That's awesome. So I guess like in terms of, the platform, how many total users do you have right now?
I'm going to say we have over 10,000, but we probably have a lot more than that. I haven't checked in a bit, but it was 10,000 a few months ago.
So like, I guess like for 2024, right? What is your vision? Like how many users would you like to have by the end of this year?
Yeah, it's a good question because I see a combination of like, I want to grow users a lot. Like I think part of the reason we're keeping our price so affordable is so, any SDR, AE, CSM, anyone who's like selling should be able to use SendSpark. But a big focus too that we're doing is marketing automation. And so for them, it's like you only need one user seat, but you're creating a lot more videos at scale. So I'd say we don't necessarily have like a specific user goal. It's more about, hey, how do we find the right people where SendSpark is an essential tool to them and not like, oh, well, I send a few emails a month. I'll like send some videos. It's like, no. Like that has to be a critical part of your job. So improving your email reply rates is really important to you.
So in terms of like, when you say marketing automation, are you talking more about like automated replies to an email with a video, or like, what does that look like for you?
Well, what I'm talking about specifically, like that's a good use case too. But really what I'm talking about is automating videos into your customer journey. So like an example would be if you think of SendSpark, someone can sign up for a product, but if they don't record at least one video, like they're not going to be a customer, like they haven't done anything. And so what we would want to do is kind of create, hey, what are the key points in our customer journey? Like a user signs up, creates a video, shares it, books a meeting, like that's what they're trying to get. So we might have that mapped out internally as like where we want customers to go. And then you have marketing automation to keep people on track. So it's like, hey, you signed up, but you haven't recorded a video yet. Like, here's a video to show you how to do it. Or, you made a video, but you haven't shared it. Here's a video how to share in, looks like you put HubSpot was your sending platform and you signed up. Here's a video to show you how to do that. So it's like being able to build these like super personalized, tailored videos into the customer journey to keep users on track and make sure like they didn't sign up and then fail to activate.
For sure. So I guess like obviously with your 2024 goals, like what would you say is like the biggest obstacle preventing you from reaching your goals and scaling this year?
I mean, I feel like everyone says this time in the day. Like I feel like we know what we want to do. It's just about like having the time to execute. I think when it comes to video, there's a big element of people maybe know by now they should use video. They know video has higher conversion rates. They know people talk about how they're using video and really successful and maybe even feel like they're missing out by not using video, but there's still like a little bit of an education gap of how, like, when should I really be sending a video? What should I really say in the video? And just like kind of having that education. So we're working on creating a lot of content from people that we know like use SendSpark, are really successful, and then being able to publish that, share that in different social channels, like email, other places to help kind of drive the education of the market. And that just is time consuming, right? So I'd say that like the biggest thing is just we're like, we know we want to do, we just need to do it.
For sure. Well, I guess like in terms of that strategy or like what's worked thus far, has it been like running ads or cold email? Like how have you grown to having over 10,000 users?
Yeah, we do a lot of different things. And it's not so much ads. We actually just started running ads, I think in December for the first time. Like, I think in December, I spent $300 on Google Ads to just see if it'd work. And we got like one customer paying $150 a month. So I'm like, 2-month payback period. I guess we should do more. So we like increased our budget this month, but it's still really low. It just because like ads can be so expensive, and unless you're spending a lot of money to test it, I don't know. So I was like, well, we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But we do a lot of content. We do a lot of video. We obviously do video in email, but we also do video on YouTube, video on LinkedIn. Video on TikTok, though, I don't think that's really driven customers, but our current customers like it because sometimes people be like, dude, I watched your TikTok and it's really funny. So I think that, that helps a little bit on the retention side of things, maybe, or it's a total waste of time. Who knows? And then, a lot with like partners, referrals. And what we're doing, we do a little bit of cold email. But honestly, what we do more is like marketing to drive inbound. And then we use like our own product and video more to like really drive those conversion rates. So we might be getting either free signups or people requesting a video example from our website. And then from there, it's like, all right, you're in our funnel and we're doing like personalized video, et cetera, as automated as possible to keep people on track, or personalized to pull the right people into meetings. So we try to just be a little bit more efficient, just so like as a startup, it's hard to do that much pure cold and talk to everyone. You got to be really effective with your time.
Right. So you're saying that essentially you've had like, good SEO and you have all this content. So you've had most people come through inbound and find you, and that's kind of how you've gotten to scale. So it's not been ads or emails. So like, so much. It's more so like, creating this organic content, maybe like on LinkedIn, and that's how people have found you. And okay, like let me, do the free trial and go from there.
Yeah. And what's funny is, so we've tested a lot with cold, and that's really where the best use case for our product is. So, we've been doing it. But what's funny is when you send a video, people like it kind of increases your reply rate so much that sometimes you end up having more meetings than you really want because people are really early. It's not even like they're not the right fit because like you made your list. It's just they're not really ready. Like it's their first time thinking about the concept of your product, and that's like a longer sales cycle. But because we have a small team, we don't really want to be doing a super long sales cycle. We want to be talking to people when they're kind of in the final questions and ready to buy. So that's why we shifted that a bit. Like we were running cold until recently, and then we're like, you know what? It's like too early. Like, why don't we, if anything, we do cold and just direct them to sign up free, and then try to focus our time on the inbound,
Right.
who are more like have more.
So you're saying for you, I guess, like a big challenge is that I guess in the past that you would reach out to somebody, they would respond, that you would get them on a call, and they'd be like, I don't know so much about this. I'm not sure if this is a good fit for me yet. And then it would just be kind of like a waste of time because you have like a really good funnel and you only have so many sales reps. You're like, why am I sitting on a call with this person?
Exactly. And like maybe they'd buy, but it'd be like 6, 9 months later, and you're like, oh my God. It's just because we're so busy, right? Like, and they'd be like, oh yeah, like tell me some good use cases. Like tell me, like let me think about it, and you're like, okay, but you're not ready. And then compare that. And it's like fine if you have the time to like follow up and do everything, but you can compare that to people that are like, hey, yeah, I saw your video on LinkedIn. I'm really excited. I have a use case in mind. I just had a couple questions. Do you integrate with this platform? Okay, can you help me get set up? It's like you get people in the end. So if you only have so many hours in the day, you want to be able to have the hours to focus on the people that are trying to get started right away, but just had like a couple questions or needed some help. So yeah, that's what I found.
Right. So I guess like in terms of use case, obviously, like you mentioned, LinkedIn, email, right? But like, what about other platforms like, X or Instagram, Facebook? Like, have you tried that out or have you seen people using it like in that way?
Like using SendSpark or us doing?
Yeah, SendSpark.
I know people use video a lot on Twitter. I don't really do like that much outreach on Twitter. I do just because like our target market spends a lot of time on LinkedIn. So we focus a lot of our energy there, but I know people are using it on Twitter. I'd say like not so much TikTok, just because that's like a lot more of a social platform, or Instagram. People use it on Facebook for sure, but I'd say that what I've noticed is people in Europe use it a lot on Facebook because there's more like B2B marketing. Like it's just more normal there. I think that if someone in the US sent me like any kind of prospecting message on Facebook, I'd be like, just like, oh, interesting. Like, honestly, I probably wouldn't check it because I checked Facebook yesterday for the first time in probably a year because it was my birthday and my mom called me and said, I left you a birthday message on Facebook. And I was like, oh, I forgot that was a thing, and like logged in to look at it. But other than that, like, I don't know.
I feel like for us, like Facebook has worked, but it's typically more of like an older demographic, or to your point, like people who live in like different countries, not like in the US.
Yeah. And I think from the business side, I'd like to just do like a little bit more on Facebook because we've completely neglected it. But it's probably I'm gonna say the best ad platform, or like at least top tier. And so the problem is, like, I was gonna start running ads on Facebook, but if you then go to the SendSpark Facebook page, it's so dead because we maybe posted a couple times like 3 years ago. And so I'm like, oh, I can't really run ads until we maintain that page. But it's hard to like be present in all the different social media platforms. So my personal philosophy has been like, hey, let's go super, super deep on like two, and then not really do anything on the others. But I think we should really at least do bare maintenance on the others.
For sure. So I guess in terms of ramping up, like, have you raised money, or like where are you looking to really scale to in 24?
Yeah, we raised money. We raised funding, our seed round last year. And then I mean, we're just doing the normal stuff. Like early on, we were really just focusing on getting the product out to market.
Right.
I feel really good about where we are right now. And that was like, it's one of those things where our investors are like, all right, so when is it good enough? Like, when are you really going to go on marketing? And we're like, I need a little more time. So I think that like, really came out in November. We're like, all right, we're in a really good spot now. Like, we got like up to a 50% close rate. So it was like 50% of sales calls were closing. And I was like, okay, we don't have any excuse. Like, people want this. We need to get in front of more people. So now it's just, we're going all in on marketing, partnerships, starting to do more ads, test different channels. This is probably the most fun where we are like right now, because we're in the stage of like, hey, we haven't really done that much of anything. Let's just try everything and throw a lot of spaghetti on the marketing side and see what sticks. So we're kind of in that throwing spaghetti stage now, and then we'll see what sticks and double down there.
Yeah, that's definitely exciting. So what would you say is like the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started this business?
I think it's important to find who your like really critical customers are early on. I think that like our product and a lot of products probably have this, where it can be used by anyone, but just because it can be used by anyone doesn't mean that you should spend time focusing on that. You really want to just focus on the people who it's essential. And what can happen is, for the people that it's not essential, like, one, they're gonna like turn more, like, if anything, if they ever need to cut budget, if they ever need to cut anything, they're gonna cut you. But they're gonna ask just as much from you as your like super live or die customers. So they're gonna have, just as many feature requests, just as much stuff, but like way less loyalty. So you almost like don't want to focus it all there. Like, it's better to focus on who do I know, if they had 3 months left of runway, they still wouldn't cut me because I'm so critical to their business. Like, that's who you want to build for, find more customers like them and completely optimize for. And I think early on we were just caught in the like trying to please everyone without really prioritizing, hey, who are the real customers. And then like in 2023, when just like the market was bad and there was a lot of layoffs, and it just kind of it was actually like kind of a great forcing function for us, because it sucked at the time because we saw a lot of churn, but it really helped in us be like, all right, who are the people that find video essential, and how do we make sure that we're like absolutely the best product for them? And if other people use us, like, great, but we're not gonna optimize for them the same way.
No, 100%. Like, even for us, we're a startup early on. We're like, let's talk to everybody. And I'm like, no, like now, like once you kind of find that product market fit, you're like, why am I wasting my time with this
Yeah.
person who is not a priority for them?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you're like, okay, sometimes it's like a nice conversation, but then you don't want to do all the follow-ups, and you gotta know
Exactly. Exactly. So if we're going to have this conversation again in 1 year from now, where do you see things going for the business?
I mean, I think that like there's two things. There's like the business and the industry. I think right now we're still in the early stages of video, even though it might feel like we're not. Just like most people I talk to, if they say they use video, they mean like every couple days. Like they don't really, really use it. So I think that we're gonna get to a point where it's more normal to use video, and we're gonna get there because companies like SendSpark are gonna remove all the friction from creating videos. So I'm talking about doing the automation. I think that's really important, and that's an easy place to start. But even in like recording a video for a proposal or walkthrough, we're doing things like touching up your appearance and like automatically editing videos so it just like looks good and feels good and gets rid of any of the hesitation. So I'd say one, we'll see like the market just use video a lot more. And then I really want it to be like, you're not even thinking about another platform. Of course, if you get a video, it's a video from any kind of like professional, like a SaaS company or any kind of seller or marketer, like you just expect that it's SendSpark.
For sure. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing your website or social media, I guess, best ways to get in contact with you?
Yeah, best ways. So our website is sendspark.com, like send a video, spark a conversation. You can email me at bethany@sendspark.com, or we're really active on LinkedIn. So follow the page on LinkedIn or connect with me. And you can always send me a DM, and I might not see it immediately, but I'll probably see it within a day or so.
Awesome. Well, Bethany, thank you so much for your time today. We're rooting for you. Happy birthday. And yeah, thanks again.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. This was great.
Thanks. All right. Bye.
All right, see you.